Hi, welcome back to First Aid with Jay. Today we'll be talking about bone fractures. So what is a bone fracture? Basically, it's an interchangeable word for a break, broken bone. Uh, it's, basically a broken bone. So there's different types of fractures. There's open fractures, and it's when the bone has pierced the skin and come out. It's not a pretty sight, and you'll know when if it's an open fracture. There's a really high risk of infection for these injuries too. There's a complete fracture in which the entire bone uh, is broken off and it damages nerves and blood vessels and can cause permanent nerve damage and loss of blood supply to a limb, and that's really bad. And there's green streak fractures. This happens in children, and it happens because their bones are a little more bendy and wiggly than adult bones. And therefore their bones are going to be less likely to break and just mostly bone splinters. So there's different signs and symptoms of a bone. First of all, the person, that could be you or someone else, will feel pain. That's pretty obvious to know. You'll feel pain. You might feel loss of movement to an area. Basically, other things could be swelling or bruising, so like blood. Inflammation to an area, it becomes really swollen. It's super tender. It's hard to touch. You can't move it. First of all, if you suspect a fracture, you want to keep the area as still as possible and not move it, because moving it could increase the break and make things worse. Check the site, make sure there's no bleeding or open wounds. If there are, you're going to want to stop the bleeding with a pad, but try not to touch the bone or anything. Then if it's super serious and they've broken multiple bones, you're gonna want to call 911. If it's not too serious, then you're just gonna want to take them into the ER emergency room, and you're gonna have them get checked out by someone. It's gonna hurt a lot. One other thing to do, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you can take a sterile bandage, and that will help apply pressure to the wound and cover it possibly. You just want to get transported to the nearest hospital, and bone fractures usually aren't deadly as long as they get treatment and it doesn't get infected. And that's pretty much all I have on bone fractures. Thanks for watching today's video, and see you guys next time on First Aid with Jay.